Hey Celtics Nation, welcome back. Today we are diving into a story that is not just another headline, but a potential turning point in the history of the Boston Celtics. If you thought the summer was going to be quiet, think again. Because behind closed doors, something remarkable has unfolded, and it is already sending shockwaves across the league. Anthony Edwards has officially signed a 4-year contract with the Boston Celtics, and the magnitude of this move is still being digested by analysts, executives, and rival fan bases who cannot quite believe what just happened. Make sure to subscribe and like this video so you do not miss a single update, because what we are about to uncover might change the way you look at this team's future. The negotiation itself is what makes this story even more electrifying. According to insiders, Boston's front office executed a carefully planned strategy, mixing timing, persuasion, and vision. They reportedly structured a deal worth hundreds of millions in guaranteed money, while at the same time convincing Edwards that Boston is not just a stop along the way, but the destination where his legacy can be built. Unlike other franchises that often pitch big-market glamour or lifestyle perks, Boston presented him with something more compelling, a blueprint for championships. This was not a gamble, it was a declaration. And the fact that Edwards agreed to commit at this stage of his career is sending a very clear message about how the Celtics are positioning themselves for both the present and the long term. Think about the context. Edwards is only 24 years old, entering the absolute prime of his career, and already recognized as one of the most explosive and marketable stars in basketball. For him to choose Boston over every other potential suitor is not just a financial decision, it is a vote of confidence in the organization's vision. Insiders are already suggesting that Edwards was persuaded by Boston's detailed plan for roster construction, with promises of flexibility around the salary cap and an openness to surrounding him with the right mix of veterans and rising talents. That kind of negotiation, balancing short-term power with long-term sustainability, is exactly what separates ordinary signings from historic ones. The curiosity now is not whether Edwards can play, everyone knows he can, but how his presence will redefine the Celtics both on and off the court. Social media is already buzzing with theories. Some claim that he will immediately form one of the most unstoppable scoring duos in the East alongside Jason Tatum. Others argue that his role could evolve into something more complex, perhaps even becoming a hybrid star who alternates between primary scorer and facilitator depending on matchups. The coaching staff, led by Joe Mazzulla, now faces one of the most exciting challenges in the NBA, figuring out how to unlock Edwards' athleticism while blending it into the Celtics' structured identity. The financial aspect adds another layer of intrigue. Reports indicate that Boston may have engineered the contract in a way that keeps future flexibility alive, potentially allowing them to pursue additional stars in the coming seasons. This suggests that Edwards is not the endpoint, but the beginning of a multi-year transformation that could see Boston redefine the power balance of the Eastern Conference. When bookmakers start adjusting odds within hours of a signing, you know it is more than just a transaction. They are already recalculating Boston's championship probabilities, hinting at how Edwards might tilt the scale against rivals like Milwaukee and Philadelphia. But the speculation does not stop at numbers. Observers are already talking about how this move could alter the psychology of the locker room. Edwards brings a confidence and charisma that is contagious, and insiders believe his arrival could spark a wave of renewed motivation among veterans who have been chasing a championship ring. Imagine the intensity at TD Garden when Edwards makes his debut, every possession turning into a highlight waiting to happen, every dunk, every three-pointer, and every defensive stop amplified by the crowd's roar. That kind of energy does not just influence games, it creates a culture, one that opponents dread and fans live for. The league-wide ripple effects are equally fascinating. Rival teams are already rumored to be reconsidering their off-season strategies in direct response to Boston's boldness. Executives are asking themselves how they can possibly match up with a team that now features Edwards and Tatum together, two young superstars capable of dominating in entirely different ways. Trade discussions across the league are reportedly being reshaped as teams anticipate the need for defensive schemes specifically designed to contain Boston's new dynamic. That is the level of disruption this negotiation has created, and is only the beginning. Even the marketing and branding aspects are worth noting. With Edwards' arrival, Boston gains not just a player, but a global symbol of energy and style. Sponsors are already circling, merchandise sales are projected to surge, and the Celtics brand, which already carries historical weight, is now positioned to reach an entirely new generation of fans. That too was part of the negotiation, insiders say, because Boston understands that winning championships is about more than just talent on the floor. It is about shaping a narrative, one that captures attention worldwide. The true curiosity lies in the unanswered questions. How will Edwards handle the pressure of playing in a city that breathes basketball with every heartbeat? Will his fearless style translate into playoff dominance against the toughest defenses in the league? Could his arrival accelerate Boston's pursuit of banner number 18 faster than anyone imagined? And perhaps most importantly, is this just the first step in a larger, carefully orchestrated plan by the front office to build a dynasty that could dominate the next decade? What makes this story so shocking is not only the signing itself, but the way it was executed in silence, away from constant media leaks, and then unveiled as if it had been inevitable all along. That level of secrecy is rare in today's NBA, and it suggests that Boston may have more surprises waiting in the shadows. The Celtics have shown the league that they are willing to play at a different level of strategy, using precision and timing to secure one of the brightest stars of this era. So Celtics Nation, buckle up. Anthony Edwards in green and white is not just a headline, it is a promise of what could be an unforgettable chapter in franchise history. The negotiation has been won, the foundation is laid, and the future now feels more open and electrifying than ever before. Celtics have officially secured Bobby Portis, and while at first glance it may look like just another roster upgrade, insiders insist this deal is far more complex than a simple mid-season addition. Reports suggest that the negotiations were fast but far from simple. Multiple franchises were circling around Portis, each one dangling offers, but Boston's proposal cut through the noise because it was not only about money or minutes. According to sources close to the situation, the Celtics offered a blueprint for something bigger, a chance for Portis to step into a role that could define his career. The timing of this deal is electrifying. It comes just as rival teams were beginning to settle into their rotations, assuming that Boston would hold steady with the talent already in place. Instead, the Celtics front office sent shockwaves across the league with a move that feels both unexpected and meticulously calculated. Insiders claim that Boston's management saw an opening, and with the trade deadline looming, they chose precision over hesitation. The deal was reportedly finalized in late January of 2025, with financial terms estimated in the range of 8 figures, a statement of intent that Boston is ready to pay for immediate impact. Why is this such a shock? Because Portis is not simply a body in the paint, he is a proven disruptor, a player who can alter the course of games with a single burst of energy. He is the type of player who thrives under playoff lights, where every possession is magnified, and the Celtics are betting that his competitive fire will blend perfectly with their stars. The conversations behind closed doors, according to leaked whispers, revolved not around whether Portis could score or rebound, but about how his presence could unlock new strategies, expand spacing, and inject a psychological edge into every matchup. What is even more intriguing is how other teams are reacting. Rival executives are reportedly rattled because this signing forces them to reconsider their own depth charts. Some insiders have even claimed that franchises like Philadelphia and Miami are now reevaluating whether additional moves are necessary to counter Boston's newfound versatility. When a single acquisition makes competitors rethink their entire strategy, you know it is more than an ordinary roster shuffle. Celtics fans are already filling social media with highlight reels and speculative lineups, but what most do not realize is that Portis was on Boston's radar for months. Sources say that internal discussions date back to November of 2024, with the front office analyzing not just his numbers, but his chemistry potential with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. In those meetings, Portis's leadership qualities were mentioned as often as his shooting efficiency, a sign that the Celtics are investing not just in skill, but in locker room stability. What adds another layer of shock is how Boston managed to outmaneuver other suitors. Several teams offer competitive deals, yet Portis reportedly chose Boston because of the clear vision presented to him. Coaches outlined scenarios where his versatility would be central in crunch time, and the promise of playing meaningful minutes in a system built for postseason battles sealed the decision. For Boston, this was not about desperation or filling a temporary gap. It was about making a deliberate move that could echo into June. The psychological ripple effect is already visible. Analysts are pointing out that announcing this signing when they did serves more than roster needs. It also sends a message. By acting decisively before rivals expected it, Boston gains a mental edge, forcing opponents to prepare for a new weapon without warning. Every scouting report now has to account for Portis, and that uncertainty itself is a weapon. But here is the real question that keeps fans and experts debating. Is this the beginning of something bigger? Some whispers suggest that this deal might not be the end but the opening move of a larger plan. Could the Celtics be lining up additional pieces, using this acquisition as the foundation for an even greater transformation before the postseason begins? The curiosity is only growing, and insiders say the front office is far from done exploring. Already, betting markets are shifting. Oddsmakers are adjusting Boston's championship odds, citing the Portis acquisition as a clear sign that the Celtics are all in. Fantasy leagues are buzzing with discussions about how his minutes will be distributed, but the bigger picture goes beyond numbers. This is about chemistry, versatility, and a message of ambition. Boston is declaring that they will not settle for incremental progress. They are chasing dominance. Fans have every reason to feel hopeful. With Portis on board, the Celtics are no longer just deep, they are unpredictable. Coaches can now experiment with lineups that force mismatches, rotations that stretch defenses, and strategies that keep opponents guessing. Every game from now on carries the aura of unpredictability, and that is exactly how championship teams keep rivals on edge. Boston did not simply sign Bobby Portis, they negotiated a statement of intent. They sent a clear message to the league that hesitation is not in their vocabulary, that the pursuit of a banner demands boldness, and that every opponent in the Eastern Conference should be on alert. The Celtics front office has thrown down the gauntlet, and with Portis in green, the question is no longer if Boston can contend, but how far they can go once the playoffs ignite. So what do you think, Celtics Nation? Is this move the spark that lights the path to Banner 18, or is there still another surprise waiting in the wings? One thing is certain, the Boston Celtics are not just participating in this season, they are rewriting its script.